And what do you want me to do?
Gotta have a junior if you're gonna say my full name. Gotta
Okay.
have that.
All right. Word. All right. Elevation Nation. Sam, you know what I'm about to say. We have a special treat for you this morning, today, this afternoon, tonight, whenever you're freaking listening. It may be 2 a.m. in the morning on Tuesday. This is a podcast that we've been hyped for a while. We have Elgin Ford Jr., also goes by Elgin. He'll get into that a little bit more. But, man, this is serendipitous because I met Elgin, was it 4 years ago, at the company I work at now, because we were working for the same company. We had, I did an orientation where he was part of it. We met, we hit it off. And, man, this has come full circle. We have a lot to catching up to do. I can't wait to get into all of what you're up to, Elgin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome to Elevation Nation.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all having me, for sure.
Elgin, this is long overdue, I will say, but very exciting because, we have met through Parker a couple years back when we had a different company, when we had different ideas. Yeah. And, we all hit it off instantly because, again, we're all elevators. We were all looking for that next thing, that extra step, that additional thing outside of work that we could put our heart and soul into. Right. And for us, you personally helped connect us with people and helped us navigate that time and figuring out and developing Elevation Nation into what it is today. And so to say we are proud of you and your success thus far would be an understatement because this is what we live for, man. Like, seeing our friends, our elevators, become successful and follow their dreams is why we keep doing Elevation Nation, because we want to show young people out there that it is okay to follow your dreams. It is okay to fall. It is okay to make mistakes, because all of us are on this journey of young adulthood and everybody's on a different timeline. So if we can inspire one person that's listening out there with this episode, I think we're going to probably do way more than one. But if we can get only one, we will have done our jobs. So we are excited to get into it today, Elgin. It's great to see your face, man. I'm
likewise.
Hyped.
I'm hyped too. You see me over here cheesing.
It's gonna be fun. All right, so let's kick it off. Let's start things off. This is Elevation Nation, so we're gonna have to go a little business on you. Elgin, give us your elevator pitch, man. Who are you? Tell the people.
Elevator pitch. My name is Elgin. I go by LGN as an artist, or Elgin. It's pronounced the same way. I am a individual who enjoys people. I enjoy music, and honestly, I enjoy just seeing the people who I grew up with, seeing the people who I've been able to support and be with along my professional and my, I guess, soon to be hopefully full-time professional career grow in a sense. So to keep things short, I definitely am an elevator, for lack of better words.
I love that, and I got 2 points out of that. It's like, I respect just the way you said who you were, right? Obviously, Sam and I both know that you are aspiring to go become a full-time singer, songwriter, rapper, right, in the music industry. But when you said, we were asking your elevator pitch, you said, this is me. You didn't say like, oh, I'm a consultant. I'm an artist. No, I'm a people person. This is who I am. This is the value I bring to the world beyond work. And I respect the hell out of that, because young people always attribute right away who they are with what they do.
Yeah. Yep.
And, man, right off the bat, I'm like, yeah, you're ready. You're ready for this conversation, bro. I'm so excited.
For sure. I mean, the interesting thing about that is, like, I feel like generationally, we always want to hit the next like level or stride that like our parents or our mentors around us are at. Like, we want to either hit that or ascend higher than that, right? So a lot of times we do attach the things that we do to be the value that we bring, but you can get a job anywhere, right? Like what do you as a person bring to the table? Like what's your I'll say communal addition, right? Or how are you helping to add value to the things that are happening around you, not just like what you have going on. So I try to embody that myself.
That is uncannily spot on with someone else who came on our podcast, a huge mentor in our lives, our friend Rich Keller. And Rich is a branding guru, and he always preaches that what you do is not who you are. Who you are is the value that you bring to the world. And that is how Elevation Nation started. Like, dead ass. Parker and I didn't know what we were doing with Hired You. We went in, we met with Rich, and we did his whole program to figure out who we actually were at our core. Because I think, unfortunately, a lot of young people define themselves by something else, right? So, Elgin, we both played hoops. You played definitely better than I did, went further than I did. But, like, that's how we defined ourselves in high school, perhaps, right? Like, I'm a basketball player in high school, or I'm the president of this club.
Yeah.
And it starts from such a young age of who you are. I even think back, you guys had AIM, like AIM chat room.
Yeah,
yeah. Bro, mine was like
instant
Soccer
message
Sam
thing.
P5. Like,
Wait,
as a
what
little
was
kid,
yours? What was yours?
Soccer Sam P5.
That's like
Yeah.
that's like a.
Oh,
what's
dude,
the-
mine's so much cheesier than yours.
Oh, God. What was yours?
You remember yours?
Oh, I remember mine. Do you know
What is
yours?
it? No, absolutely not.
Oh,
I
you
don't
ready for
remember.
this? You're gonna laugh your ass off. It was Play Sports 815. Like, what? What does that even mean?
It like reminds me of the Bebo pages we used to make,
Yeah, bro.
like Bebo on MySpace, and try to like change
Yeah.
the username or something cool.
Parker.
Crazy, wild.
Play sports.
Sports.
That's how, right? So we how old were we? Probably, what, 10? We defined, we had to define ourselves as who we were in this username. Mine was soccer. Parker was sports. Like, from a young age, it's instilled in you, like, you are something.
Yeah.
I am a dancer. I'm a singer. I'm a musician, a piano player, a soccer player, whatever it is. And unfortunately, society puts that on us.
Yeah.
And so through this program, Parker and I eventually found out that we are elevators. And that's what inspired Elevation Nation, because the value we want to bring to the world and the value we bring to ourselves is elevating and improving the lives every single day of the people around us. And so
Oh, yeah.
I love that you said that. And I think more young people need to think about the value that they bring, and then potentially the value that you want to bring. And if those two things aren't aligned, figuring out how to get there. It shouldn't be a job or profession. It should be the value you want to bring to the world.
That's facts.
Love it. All right, Elgin. So now that we know a little bit more about you, what value you bring to the world, and I'm sure we're going to go deeper into that. We always ask, we got to go a little bit into the background of Elgin, like his life. When you were younger, growing up, maybe on MySpace or AIM, what was like the dream for you, like growing up? Was there one thing that you just wanted to do so badly?
Yeah, it was actually it changed. It was two things. The first was definitely to be in the NBA. Like that was a dream. It was just like I was good at basketball when I was younger, and like head and shoulders over most of the people that I was playing with. And then I didn't play in middle school, didn't play in high school, so that kind of went away. And I still played it recreationally, but it wasn't the same like competitive at the same competitive level as everybody else around me. But and then I also wanted to do politics. Like I wanted to be a congressman. And when I was in Georgia, I grew up in Atlanta, and I did a lot of work with like the local politicians. Congressman John Lewis, who passed not too long ago, worked with him on his reelection campaign. So it was like that's what I was doing, prepping for law school. And then I realized I was like, oh, okay, I don't want to go to law school. So my entire like politician thing was put on hold for a while. But like growing up, it was just like I knew that sports was a way to like I enjoyed playing basketball for the literal action of it, but I enjoyed how people appreciated, digested, and enjoyed sports like athletics holistically. So I wanted to be able to like give people entertainment. And then like my gist for wanting to do politics was to be able to support and help people who can't help themselves or don't know how to, don't know what resources are available to them. So it's always been like a somewhat of a service type mindset where it's just like I want to be able to like help people or give people some joy or happiness in some manner. So that's kind of where it started, and I'm nowhere near I guess, doing politics or being in the NBA.
It's really interesting. Again, going back to, we both played basketball. Parker played sports too. Not once, I'm just being honest, not once did it cross my mind that I was providing entertainment for anyone besides like me probably airballing shots like while warming up. Like never once was I like,
you're providing
I'm sure
entertainment to your teammates.
Yeah, we're like, oh my god, this kid sucks.
The ones who are in the NBA now, the ones who played college ball. Elgin, that's another story.
Never once was I like, yeah,
we gotta hear this one.
These people really came to like see me. Like, I'm really going to entertain them. It was always like, this is my opportunity to be a leader. This is my opportunity to prove, honestly, the underdog story. Like, 5'8" kid can play varsity sports, right? Like, that was my dream from growing up. I wanted to prove it to myself and all those people who cut me from the teams when I was too small and like the little kid running around. Like
the Jordan
it was
story.
all about that. And it's just funny. Again, it's going back like a little bit. You were confident enough in your basketball skills to say like, nah, I want to entertain people with my skills. And I was like, I hope I don't see the court at all. Like I'm so scared to go out there. It's just hilarious. Like the difference between those two. And I love it. And that's why I think athletics are great.
You were backing up someone who you'd have to fill some pretty big shoes. I will say
that is true.
Elgin,
were you backing up?
He was backing up now starting point guard for the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson.
I'm weak.
So
well, I mean,
like,
there you have
the
it.
court very often. Let's be honest.
There was a very rational thought about not seeing the floor. It's
yeah,
solid.
I was
it's
good.
Solid.
I was good. I just wanted to cheer and sit in the front row.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I think athletics, you learn a lot about yourself, and that helps first start to show you the value you want to bring to the world. And it's beautiful, Elgin, that I think you learned that from a young age, this concept of I want to entertain people, or I want to bring joy or show my passion, right? I think sports give you the first glimpse of expressing yourself, right? Like sports, in my opinion, in basketball can be played beautifully and show creativity and expression. And now you're taking that into maybe I don't even know if I want to say less traditional. I think it's probably less traditional to be a singer-songwriter at a young age, but I would say now at our age, that's probably more creative than being an athlete. And how did, I guess, that full transition come when, like, you don't just pick up a microphone and learn you can sing, bro, but like Parker and I were listening to your album, and it sure as hell sounded like our boy just like learned to sing out of nowhere and rap. Where, like, I'm a little rattled. How did this like first
Start
get uncovered?
Yeah,
in the shower.
So when I was in the shower, it's funny. I actually don't. I don't really like sing in the shower. Like a lot of people ask me now, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't really do that. I mostly just like listen to the music when I'm in the shower. The last time I did sing in the shower was when Lion King came out. I was singing "I Can't Wait to Be King" in the shower. But so when I was younger, I don't know how we actually figured out I could sing. I don't know, actually. That's a really good thing. I probably should figure out. But I remember the first time I ever performed, I sang "Ordinary People." And it was just like this talent show. And I love John Legend, one of my favorite artists of all time. And "Ordinary People" was the first song I ever sang. Then I started like dipping into like Sam Cooke and Jackie Wilson because my voice wasn't as deep and I could hit those higher runs and higher notes. But I never, like, I didn't grow up singing in like a church. It was just kind of me like mocking what I was hearing. And my mom, actually, is a singer. Well, she can still sing, but like when she was, dating my father and they didn't have children, she was actually like on pace to like get signed and be a like real artist. And I actually stopped singing. Like, I knew I could, like, carry a tune, but I, like, stopped, like, performing and doing stuff from, like, high school through, I mean, short of, like, open mics, but high school through grad school. It wasn't until, like, two of my friends, were just like, yo, you should, make music. And I had and it was always, like, singing. Like, they knew I could sing. Do y'all remember the, So Gone challenge, the Monica So Gone challenge, where people were like, they were like rapping over like a few seconds of it. It was I feel like I was definitely in undergrad. It was like my junior year undergrad, sophomore year undergrad. And like usually I sing. Everybody on Drexel's campus that knew I could, like, I was musically inclined, knew that I sang. But I wrote like essentially like 16 bars because I was like beefing with this dude that he's not my friend anymore, but like he did some really like grimy shit and I didn't really appreciate it. So because it was me and like other people that it involved, wasn't a fan of it. So I wrote like a rap to that and it actually flowed. Like, the shit was crazy. And part of the, I guess, manifestation of me being able to like do music and it sound cohesive, it sound like this person actually knows what they're doing, it sounds good, it sounds like something I would listen to, really took a lot of time. I was just comfortable with rewriting songs that I already knew because you know the cadence, you know the flow, you know the melodies. It's really easy to just like put some words in, sing it the same exact way. But writing your own stuff, that didn't happen until I want to say 2019, right before COVID. So end of the year, like December, November time frame. My friend Joseph was like, yo, here, take this instrumental and write. And I was like, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but let's see what happens. And the first song I ever did is called the song Hunter. It'll never be released. Yeah, it'll never be released.
Why?
It's raw. It's very raw. Also, the song that I did it to, someone else owns like the exclusive rights to it. So like, even when I tried to buy the beat, it wasn't available anymore. So, but I did take pieces of that song and put it in other stuff. But it was a rap.
So real quick, Elgin, Parker, and he teed it up. He said we get deep, and you said that song was raw. And you and I had the chance to catch up for a little while the other day and talked about some of the inspiration behind music. And as a young adult, I would say one of the most pressing things that is on a lot of our minds is the concept of finding your person, right? Love and loss and dating and relationships, figuring out how to even fall in love with yourself, right?
Yeah,
and so I know that's the inspiration behind a lot of your album, the concept of love, the concept of self-acceptance, the concepts of figuring you out. Has that, so we talk about like some of the different ways you can like cope and have mechanisms to process your emotions because it's not easy. I can only assume that this is therapeutic for you to get these things out. Or is it painful?
Yeah, that's a great question. Personally, I think it's a combination of the two.
Yeah.
I think there's also some out-of-body experience that happens sometimes too. So just to kind of separate, generally speaking, the project that is out right now, the EP, came out last November. And honestly, I really was just fucking around in terms of like creating stuff. Like a good amount of those songs I tracked in my living room. And then creating them was very random. But to answer your question, this new project is actually called Of Love. I'm trying to rep C t-shirt. It's called Of Love, and it actually is true stories about my experience with love, right? It covers a whole bunch of different stuff, like from the crazy experiences to like the foundation to I'm over here blanking on what I wrote. But when it comes to writing those things, a lot of times I either have two experiences. I have one where it's just like, all right, like I'm intentionally trying to write about this feeling and I need to like take breaks because I am getting frustrated at like reliving some of this while I'm writing it. And then other times I'm just writing. Like I have a topic in my head. I feel this vibe for this song and I write. There's a song that I wrote that's on this project. I wrote it in November after I finished What Am I Doing? And it didn't hit me I was writing about myself until like June. Like a few months ago, June. So I have moments like that where I'm just like, oh shit, this me. This is about myself. So I mean, it is a combination of two. Like some of it is therapeutic because I can just get it all out and just like write it and manipulate it later. But some of it is difficult to like experience.
I mean, like, do you journal at all? Like
yes and no.
Yeah, like I
Yes
feel
or no?
like we were just talking.
I guess technically if it's yes, it's not no. So yes, I do journal.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we were just talking to, a career coach about, one thing that he does that is a meditation that is like a quick fix to, help a shitty day. And he always says like journaling. And I look at you and I think of like a musician, like you sit down and you write. And I guess that's essentially journaling. That's helping you come to thoughts and putting your thoughts on paper, whether it's lyrically driven or not. You're putting thoughts down and you're being real with yourself. You're writing those for a specific reason, whether it's you're trying to make a good rhyme, you're trying to tell a story, or it's just like, you know what? I got to get this shit on paper. And you know what? Maybe I'll just speak it and maybe it'll sound good. Maybe it sound like, and like, I've always thought about this, like, Logic, for example. We were talking about Logic before the show. He's like my favorite rapper of all time. I followed him since he was like, and I was in ninth grade. He was no one, and now he's obviously huge. And I'm like, does an artist just sit there and just write and like try to make a song, or does it just happen?
Yeah, that's a crazy question and I feel like I got to stop saying yes and no in both, but it does kind of have it both ways, right? Like there are times where, you can spend hours with a beat or hours with something conceptually, and it not work, right? And you go in the studio, you catch a vibe and you're like, oh shit, this is what I want to do. And then you do that and it just happens, right? But I do think the I don't know if I caught the name, but whoever the life coach was that talked about, journaling and just writing. I do have like a thing in my notes thread that it's called Raw Thoughts. And I literally just type out stuff. Like if I like have a moment where I'm just like, all right, nah, like I need to, I'll just write stuff out. And then when I do go to like make music or I make a song, I run and make a song about something, I'll look through it and be like, okay, well, I definitely want to talk about this or catch this or take this. I'm not going to lie, for me at least, it doesn't leave my mind once I write it though. So I know some people do journal to kind of like get it out and it's just like, that's it. But like some of that shit just like sticks in my head. So I'll like remember when I wrote something, I'll be okay, I need to go find this. But I mean, I feel like each artist is going to give you a very unique answer on that. Because like I said, art is, very subjective and person to person basis is going to determine how kind of that manifests in the music or in the art, regardless of what medium it is.
And speaking of, your process or part of your process and you saying like, some people write it down and they feel better. I feel like that's like this false assumption that when people hear like why people are skeptical of journaling, right? They'll hear like, oh, you're like going through something. Like, yeah, just write it down. Like you'll be better. Automatic. It's like, no.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
That's not how it works.
No. I just think it's like
that's not how it works.
Journaling has this perception of like, oh, you're writing a diary or something, and like, yeah, it's like more like a feminine thing to do. When in reality, you're just literally writing whatever's on your mind. It could be anything. I could sit here and be like, I am speaking with Elgin and Sam right now, and like the dumbest shit. But at the same time, you're writing and you're putting it on paper, and to some people, it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
Whether it's for music, whether it's for meditation, whatever. It's just the act of putting to paper, and I always like to say you're making something real when you're putting it on paper.
I think the combination of making it real and then I feel like you're capturing a moment, and it's like I'd call it capturing a memory, but obviously you can have good and bad memories, but I feel like you're capturing a moment with yourself that you may not necessarily be able to get again. At least for me. So when I go to like write something, right? Like for instance, no relationship is perfect. So I know like when me and my girl are like beefing or there's issues, or there's like things that bother me and it's a feeling that I can't necessarily just randomly go collect. Right? It's not like I can go and look on a shelf and be like, okay, this one right here. Yeah, I can't always do that. So when I do write or when I do journal, right, that's like I'm talking about how this is making me feel, what's going through my head. And the thing is, I don't necessarily try to go back and relive those moments, right? And, you know, sometimes that happens by, you know, if you are triggered or if you're gaslit by somebody or some instance. But like trying to hold on to that essence, you're creating a moment with yourself. And I feel like oftentimes, at least for me, it feels like I'm checking in with myself to be able to be like, hey, this is how you're feeling right now.
There's a lot of power in those lessons, right? Like I also have
Hell yeah.
notes on my phone. I got to change it to raw thoughts, but right now it's just thoughts. I like that better. It's way cooler.
You do take notes in your phone, Sam?
I know. I give you shit.
No. Wait.
Go ahead.
Wait. Did I just hear what I thought I just heard? You take
All right, go
notes on your phone now.
Well,
See,
I have a journal.
For all these years, Sam was a physical book. He needed
Put it
to
on paper.
Put it on paper. Show the world. Here are my thoughts, world. Check it out.
I can't control when
And
my thoughts happen to me.
He always
I don't have
made
the book all
fun
the time.
of me for writing. You know, I got all these business ideas. I just write them down. I got like pages and pages on my phone. And Sam's like, "Oh, well, you're writing on your phone now." I'm like, "I don't know, maybe a future ideas about something." And Sam's just like, "Oh, I just got my book." And like, "Oh, now you're doing this on your phone."
I was high class and sophisticated. Now I'm a modern man. Now I'm just like
He's evolved. The man has evolved.
I've grown. I've elevated. But no, seriously, like
I've elevated.
Fair enough.
And I think and the reason why I like doing it on my phone too is because, to your point, Elgin, you're capturing a specific moment. And you don't know when that thought's going to hit you. But the lesson that you learn from that is powerful. And you said, I don't want to go back and relive it, which I agree with. But what I absolutely love to do, if I had a couple beers and the thoughts start flowing, I'll write it down because I know that I am breaking down some of the barriers that perhaps protect myself, right? And then I'll read it back in the morning and know that that's my truer self trying to send me a lesson or a message.
That's
right?
real.
That maybe my protected self wouldn't feel comfortable to accept. And so you can't disagree with the dead truth of things that you literally wrote in your phone yourself.
Yeah. And it's
that you then
password
need to reflect
protected, so only you can unlock that shit.
That's exactly right. It's only you that can read that stuff. And so,
Well, unless someone finds out your password, like
Oh, it's my. I got the
girlfriend,
face drawn.
Okay.
I forgot. I honestly forgot to type one. So if the face thing just
like
start
that
working
strategy.
one day, we just not gonna be able
Damn,
to.
you're gambling that.
Elgin's got two-factor
that camera's
authentication
not
on
gonna.
his shit.
I got the push notifications coming through. Got to swipe down, hit approve. Yeah, all that shit.
Fair enough. So, Elgin, let's move this along a little bit. Obviously, we're keeping in the realm of music. What is it like being a young adult who is chasing his dream? I'll keep it as simple and broad as that.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. Cause I feel
it's
like
loaded, man.
We could do
We
an
could talk for
entire.
days about it.
I'm saying
That's why we have the next segment all around this loaded question. You know.
Yeah, no, I mean it's difficult at times, but I think I'm one of those like individuals who just has to like keep going. Like, for instance, my dad growing up told, and I feel like I may be foreshadowing too much for the show, but growing up, my dad used to tell me and my siblings dare to be great. And I reference that in some of my songs. Like, I literally have it tattooed on me. And chasing a dream is like, I don't want to, I got to a point in grad school where I was like, I really don't want to accept the idea that dreams only exist when my eyes are closed. Right. Like, I want to be able to like open my eyes and be like, wow, this is the shit that I've been wanting to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to be doing. The hard part is like, regular day to day, like you got to have a job because you got to pay bills, right? Student loans, the phone bills that your parents don't want to pay no more. Like buying groceries and having the groceries in the fridge, but then don't want to cook. So you order out. So like all those little things, it's just like the dream that I want. Future state, in state, yes, I can have all of the things that I want, but obviously, like, I have to be able to get to that. I can't hear you, Sam. You're muted.
I want to talk about that for a second because I love this topic of dreams.
Yeah.
And to be honest, to get a little vulnerable with you, it really scares me to think about dreams for two reasons. One, I don't know if I necessarily have one, which scares me.
Okay.
I don't know if I have like an ideal life that I think would be perfect. And two, if I do have one and I figure it out and I get there, what if it's not as good as I thought it was going to be when I dreamed it? And so maybe that's why it's like in my subconscious preventing me from like fully developing that dream. But I wanted to ask you, Elgin, like, what does your dream life look like? Have you figured that out? Is it a job? Is it a spouse? Is it health? Is it like what is it for you?
I feel it's a combination of a lot of things, but I think the thing mostly it is that I swallowed the pill that perfection doesn't exist. So like understanding that even if I do get as close to the idea that my subconscious is like telling me that I want to be at, it's never gonna always be exactly like that. I mean, shit, y'all are in consulting. Like, we know the perfect gig does not exist at all. Because when you get the statement of work, the shit you're doing do not match the statement of work. So, I mean, like, for me, obviously I want to be in good health. Like, I want to have a partner that is killing it in their own shit, as well as, like, you know, us supporting each other within our own dreams. But I think the idea of a dream evolves and ebbs and flows so much that it's just like, you know, I dream about, you know, brownie core, Ben and Jerry's ice cream pint, and like I can go get that, right? Like, you know, I could dream about that tomorrow. I could like have dreams that add up to, obviously we don't have a utopia, but conceptually, I think that it consists of pursuing the things that I want within, and then also giving myself the grace, space, and opportunity to actually pursue it. Because the thing is, like, I could sit up here for days and tell you exactly what I want, right? But I don't think there's much value in, like, trying to chase perfection.
I try to, and I couldn't agree more. I did an exercise, like, probably a year ago now, where I tried to write out, like, with 30-minute increments, what my ideal, like, dream day was. Like, what is your dream day? And I tried to break it down, and
that shit hard.
Way tougher than I thought it was going to be.
That shit difficult.
And instead of like tying it fully to activities, because let's be honest, like I don't really know what I want to do every day. Like
sometimes I just be wanting to do this the whole day.
Like, exactly.
It's specific to the day, and the problem is with your little exercise, Sam, is that
Parker hates his exercise. You're a little like as if I came up with it, bro.
You know,
you're a little exercise.
All right.
No, he did it. He came up with it.
The problem is that it only in your ideal day, whatever, it happens once. So you can pick and choose anything. Like you want to go to a football game. You want to have this amazing steak. You want to do all these glorious things that make you happy in a single moment. But we're talking about a single moment. And that's why I look at that exercise and I'm like, yeah, you can pick and choose a lot of different material things. But if you continuously did that every day, you're back where you started. You're in the monotony of finding the next thing that is going to make you happy, because those things aren't going to make you happy anymore.
But that's what makes us elevators. That's what makes us unique. We're always wanting more. I think there are some people who just want to be comfortable. They just want to have the same thing every day that doesn't scare them, that doesn't challenge them, that's easy, that doesn't take a lot of brain power or courage. For some people, not all.
Yeah,
I would hope
but
that
I think
more
there are some people
want the other side of things, where they want to continue to better themselves, and you know, maybe they don't have the opportunity to better themselves.
I feel like another thing is also too, like Sam, I think you touched on this a little bit, talking about fear. It's easy to pick something attainable that's like within grasp and within reach, and be able to tell yourself that you'd be content with that, right? The problem, or I guess the desire or work or effort or drive or ambition or whatever word you want to use, comes into play when you actually have someone who realizes that like Parker said, I'm not going to want the same things all the time. And accept that, because like, I mean, it's human nature, especially with like mass marketing and social media, and there's so many things that like we see, we feel, there's ideas that we connect, and at the end of the day, like, it's difficult for me to say, okay, like, I want to do this and only this, like, forever, or I want this forever. And that's why I said, like, the dream thing, it evolves, it changes, because like, obviously you can have like a main goal or a main like idea, but like there's certain things either along the way or even that you want to add on to that kind of reshape it, and it will change your pursuits of that. So,
and this is such a challenge as a young adult that you bring up the idea of social media, and Sam and I talk about this all the time, is that when you're on social media, you're seeing like a perfect version of something that you might want. You know, if your eyes are on TikTok, and, you know, obviously TikTok's sending you the shit that you consistently want to see, you're seeing like a perfect version of what that could or couldn't be. You know what I mean? And as a young adult, it's challenging, because it's like, damn, I want that. I want to live that life that that person has. I want to go to that place. I want that car. I want that job. I want to make that money. But like, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to step back, be like, yo, this is what's good for me. Look back on my life, where I came from, what the things I've done, where I'm going, how I'm elevating.
yeah,
That's the hard part as a young adult. It's because we look a lot outward, when in reality, I think elevation comes from looking inward.
and also there's a level of discipline there too, to even be able to continuously tell yourself that, because you can tell yourself that once or twice, right? But
Oh, yeah.
there comes another point where it's like, all right, well, for instance, prime example, yesterday I had a crazy busy birthday. Like, I had a lot of shit to do. And at the end of the day, let's say I logged off at like 5:30. I wrote 3 songs after 5:30. I was exhausted even before like I ate lunch yesterday, right? So the mental fortitude to say, okay, well, this is I'm pursuing a dream, right? What actions can I take today to help get me one step closer to what I want, or where I want to be at, that I think is actually good for me to push through, to challenge myself to do X, Y, and Z. Like, fuck it. Let's figure out what melody we want to put here. Let's figure out how to like take this concept and put it in these bars, right? This is the bar I want to land on. So like, I want to make sure I can build everything else up to that, right? So there's little things, but to tell yourself that like consistently that I can pursue, I can take steps, I can get to that dream, I can pursue this, I can do this, I can obtain this. I feel like it takes a decent amount of discipline and mental self fortitude to be able to get there and to continuously do that.
It's a grind.
Shit. You ain't lying.
And the crazy part is, I think like we've all grown to love the grind. Like, I kind of love, maybe this is just me, I love that I, after work, put in more work. Because I think it makes me, makes me me. It makes me
Okay, Kobe.
like
That's what I was
like,
thinking.
It's a blessing. I'm just saying, Parker's laughing at me, but he's also like this. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because thank God I'm not like, I'm okay. I'm just gonna, binge watch Game of Thrones for 6 hours every day after work, because I got nothing else that really matters. Like,
It's funny because I was just watching Game of Thrones.
Hey, some days
yeah, but
it's
you
fine.
wrote 3 songs
Some days
before,
it's
so
fine.
you're good. You earned it.
Some
You earned
days
it.
are fine to do that. Hey, maybe
For
you
sure.
get inspiration from Game
Well,
of
that's why I
Thrones.
said it's a blessing and a curse. And Parker's
Might be
laughing
some dope
because
beats in
it's
there.
something I struggle with. I'm really bad at turning off. I'm really bad at learning how to relax and not being like, go, go, go.
I
Because
think
there's
that's a
always something else
generational
you can
thing.
do. Do you think,
It's
you
a
think so?
generational thing. Because the thing is, I feel like it's a generational thing, but it also could just be someone who's like ambitious and has drive. That may be the kind of like the makeup of that person. Because essentially, for me at least, and I'm assuming you and Parker, is like, I literally know that there's something I could be doing. One, I know a lot about myself. I hate being bored, and I actually like hate the idea of thinking if I'm not doing something right now that I like I'll be behind the next person. So another pill I had to swallow is like my journey's my journey, right? And I have to give myself grace. I have to work hard because nothing's going to be put on a silver platter for me. But I definitely have to like pick and choose the times when I want to say, okay, what Kobe say, like job's not finished yet, right? Or rest at the end. Like I can rest when like it's time to go to sleep, or like I can rest when it's time to like watch TV before I go to bed, or before I take my melatonin because I know I can't sleep these days. But essentially, there are little things that we can do, right? But I think you're right with the blessing and the curse. But I also feel like it's like our generation too. I don't know why, and maybe every generation thinks or feels that, but
I think for people who continue to succeed and find success in their life, aka elevate, wherever they are, whether it's business, life, relationships, whatever, is, to Sam's point, is that the journey is in the grind.
Yeah.
To get to where you want to go, because where you want to go is always going to be temporary. Your achievement, your success, when you're walking across that stage to get your diploma, to win that trophy, to have that hit record, to sell your company, to write that book, that is temporary.
Yeah.
And that is always going to be temporary. And then 2 weeks later, you're going to wake up, you're like, what's next?
Yeah.
And you need
What's
to
next?
find exactly what's next. It's like the journey and the grind is where the true fulfillment comes, because you know that you never know what's happening. It's up and down.
And that's a part of the legacy and the story that you're building too. Like we love storytelling.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And so many people might look towards the end goal, that's what they're achieving. But I think, Elgin, you got it, and Sam, I know we've talked about this before, it's about the small wins along the way that you can step back and appreciate and give yourself some credit for, right? Like, you write 3 songs in one day after a long work day, you can go to bed rested. Wow, that was a good day. I exceeded. I did something that I'm cool with. But you know what? Tomorrow, let's go again.
Yeah, I had a moment yesterday actually, and I was texting my producer because he's always sending me beats, and we're always talking about music. And obviously, the project is about to come out. It's called Of Love. But the next one, I want to do a volume 2, like Of Love 2, but like spell it TOO. And like I've been stressing because I realize that once this music drops, if it does what I think it's gonna do and what others foresee it doing, I'm gonna have to like follow up with that really quickly. And in my mind, I can't like let go of the project until like it's ready to start writing new stuff. But yesterday I started typing up a list of like songs that are potentials for the next project, and I was like, oh shit, like we have a lot of fucking stuff. So it is good to also get those reminders that like you are doing that work to build up to the next thing, right? Like you are putting in that work and being on that grind, so to speak, to get to that next level. Because obviously those successes and those accolades are temporary until you figure out what's next. So I feel you.
And
on
there's
that.
always a next. There's always a
Always.
next. And
Hell
that's
yeah.
what's beautiful. Always another opportunity to elevate yourself and the people around you to get a little bit better each and every day. And it's
Absolutely.
that constant pursuit of greatness, right? As Kobe rubs off on us. And I wanted to touch for a minute, Elgin, on one topic that I think is interesting, which is knowing your worth, right? We talked a little bit. I don't know how much legally we can talk about, but potential people came to you wanting to, take you in a certain direction with your career, right?
Yeah.
And you decided that, even though you told me about the deal, I said, holy shit, but it wasn't right.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right. And so a lot of people would jump at any opportunity. I mean, let's be honest. If someone came to Parker and me and said, hey, we want to
It
take your
happened.
podcast and really do something
With
with it.
hired you. With hired you.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
And we said
But
no.
You're right. And it's hard to say no, though, when someone else believes in you and throws a dollar amount in front of your face.
Saying
turn it
no
down
is
is hard.
Saying no is an art. But to the point about knowing your worth, it's difficult because I feel like that's also a blessing and a curse too, right? Because it's a risk, it's a gamble. Because like I believe this much in me, but then you also like people think that when they come out of undergrad or even grad school, it's just like, oh, like I'm gonna get this job and they're gonna be coming for me and all these different things. So like there's also like a level setting with yourself. For me, there's certain things that you just feel innate, and also other things where like I've studied socially like music, like I've studied what artists are capable of doing with a studio, without a studio. There's artists who can sing, like actually really sing before you even touch a button in a studio or on a Pro Tools session, and there's artists that can't sing at all and you don't see them touring that much, right? So when I think about like my worth musically, like I think about what I'm capable of doing. And what I'm capable of doing right now is creating a sound that crosses over technically 3 genres, because obviously hip hop is its own. You have rap, you have R&B. Can cross over 3 genres and probably a little pop too if I like played my cards right and like wrote more poppy stuff. I see somebody who can actually like sing and rap, somebody who can perform, somebody who knows that like idea wise, I'm speaking to people who are same generation as me, the generation before and the generation after, in terms of like concepts, and that I don't see in the industry right now. So I'm filling a hole and finding my own niche, even though like most people in the industry don't know me, don't know who the hell I am, wouldn't know me from Adam if I was walking down the street, right? But I'm taking that risk and that gamble to know that what I have is more valuable than what's in front of me. And oftentimes it doesn't feel good. And the people who don't have the vision, who don't have the belief or the confidence are going to tell you or make you feel like you fucked up, right? It's just like, how could you let that go? Like, how could you let that shit slide across the table and not like take it, right? But it's like,
those are the same effing people, bro, that when you first started singing and rapping were probably like, what is Elgin doing though? Right?
bro,
Like,
I don't had a few. I've literally sent songs to people, and granted, their reference tracks are like they're very, very like not the finished product. And I've sent people reference tracks, and they'll be like, "Oh, like this is okay," and I'm just like, and they'll be like, "Oh, like you're good at." Somebody told me, "You're good at telling stories, but I don't think your voice is completely there," and I was just like, okay, cool. I appreciate the feedback, but it took so much to get that out of them. But like now, the people I literally have meetings with now about my music, my project, that I don't even need to like, I don't even worry about that shit. And you're right. Those are the same people that like wouldn't support me before or thought that this was like a joke. Or I had people text me when What Am I Doing came out and be like, yo, I thought this shit was going to be trash, but like, I wish you made more songs. So, I mean, the idea of like knowing your worth and value, it comes at a gamble because like you're literally betting on yourself.
The way you just described that is like unbelievable, because Sam and I, when we talk about mental fortitude, we break it down in self-awareness, vision, and accountability. And way you just described that hits on, you know your freaking worth. You know where you want to go, and you're waking up every damn day holding yourself accountable to get there. And that is what elevating is all about. It's blocking out the bullshit noise, and you have a dream. You know what you bring to the table, and you're real with yourself about it. And you got your vision that's aligned with who you are, what you know about yourself. And you got to hold yourself accountable to get there, and you're doing that consistently. And sometimes, most of the time, it's really hard to block out that noise. Yeah. But you got a dream, and I respect the hell out of you for the way you think about all of that outside noise. And you know, you're waking up every day. You don't know where it's going to take you. In a year, who knows where you'll be? In a year, who knows where we'll be? In 5 years, 10 years, you never know. Yeah. But you're driven internally by your self-awareness of what you want to do, where you want to go. And you know what? Every day you put one step forward. You never know what's going to happen. The people that you're going to meet, the places you fall, never know.
And that's the first step. The first step is that I literally believe in myself. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. I love Drake. It's my favorite artist. Drake could pull up to me right now and be like, yo, this shit is trash. And I'm like, yo, you've lost your mind. There's no way. And like, I have that level of confidence in my own art and abilities. I'm very realistic with myself. But also another thing that I do is surround myself with people who are also doing those same exact things, or rubbing shoulders with people who are doing their own thing with their own dream, that process, that journey, that knows what that's like, right? So being around like-minded people, and granted, I'm not saying that like I rely on them to help me build my own confidence, because I have that by myself, right? It's called self-confidence. But the idea of having a community or a group of people, elevators, who are also moving and shaking in that same manner, that are on the grind, that are chasing a dream, also is another added value to that.
It's huge.
Concept.
You need those elevators. You need those people around you. And we had on a guest. His episode actually came out this week. Another musician, singer-songwriter based out of Nashville.
Yes,
named Jackson Dreyer. Yeah,
I listen to Jackson's
and
podcast.
So Jackson's awesome.
That was crazy.
We'll connect you guys. But he said something very eerily similar to you about confidence. And it's funny because I've known Jack for a long time, and how he said it to some probably came off cocky, but like he literally just meant it, because like he feels it in his core, where he was like, if people don't like what I'm doing, or say like he's not good enough, I just go, okay, like they'll see. He doesn't even mean it in a cocky way. He's like, I have nothing bad to say about them, but they'll see. Like, I know I will be good enough. And he said it so nonchalantly.
Why do we belittle?
Like,
why do we belittle being confident? Why do we belittle that? Because there's a difference between cocky and confidence. I get that. You're not going out and blowing to people. But like, why do we belittle people being confident?
So even before I started making music, like I've always been a very confident individual. And I know I could name you people who will say that it's cocky. Part of it, I think, is a projection. Because like, I know some people just can't do that. Like it's just not in them.
It's not who they are.
And then also, I think another part of it is the idea of being so invested in knowing that you're capable of doing X, Y, and Z does make other people feel uncomfortable. And I think
insecure.
Absolutely. And I feel like people want you to be humble and let other people sing your praises, but sometimes you have to like sing your own praises, right? Sometimes you have to speak up. Sometimes you have to like vouch for yourself. Sometimes you have to finesse a conversation so that you can actually show that like I'm capable of doing X, Y, and Z. I mean, it's even like y'all are in consulting. It's even like when you're trying to go for a promotion, you have to advocate for yourself. You got to check off these bullets, these tick marks. You got to be operating at the next level. You have to be your advocate. So, I mean, and another part of it, some people just be hating. But
some people are,
hating.
and
they be some haters.
I think the thing with confidence, right, is you need to project that to sometimes convince people that what you're doing is good, right? Elgin could have the same exact music, the same exact lyrics, the same exact stuff, but if he didn't come out swinging when he's performing and rock the stage and own that shit, and he was like, "Hi, I'm Elgin Ford Jr." Like, if you like, "Hey, I'm here," like, if you were like weird about it, people would be like, "This kid's gonna suck." And so it's the same thing in presentations and how you shake a hand with someone and introduce yourself. Like, bro, I used to joke when younger kids would ask about like how to be successful in business and consulting and stuff, I would say, when you present or ask a question, use like different tones of voice as you talk so it sounds interesting, but end with like a bang in your last word. Bro, dead ass. It works every time. You could literally be saying like, "I literally don't know the answer." And if you say it confidently, people will be like, "That Sam is confident that he doesn't know the answer. Like, he's on to something. He's an honest kid." Bro, it's like your tone and your confidence
That's
level
smart.
and your
I mean,
eye contact.
like, your own
That's facts.
Like, It's everything. It really is.
Between
you can
body
trick
language,
so many people.
body language. I mean, there's a ton of research and science and psychology behind literal like physical statures and body positioning that like shows a level of confidence. Like I've been in rooms filled with individuals and literally still feel alone. Like, but I know, like, I'm confident in what I'm doing. I'm confident in what I can talk about. I know, like, who I am. No one's going to make me feel any kind of way about being who I am. And like growing up in high school, like I was not in the cool kids crowd, at all. I mean, I got bullied in high school, my junior year. There's so many different things that like lead up to the culmination of who I am now, and the level of confidence I have. And honestly, I'm very grateful for that because I know that I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without it. But I mean, it's an interesting concept too, because also you think about like the individuals who seem like they have the confidence, but you know, they are, you know, experiencing imposter syndrome, or, you know, they experience situations where they're just uncomfortable. But for me, listen, you never gonna know if I'm uncomfortable in a space where I have to like perform, or in a space where like it's a challenge, like this is the next challenge, right? Like I'm daring to be great. I'm telling you, that's a part of it.
And we're confident that you will be as well, and we're honored that you're an elevator with us along for the ride.
For sure.
Because that's, again, just to bring it full circle, you talked about you want to surround yourself with people who are doing great things. Let's be honest here, man. Like, we don't make money from the podcast. We're doing this because Parker and I want to meet extraordinary people and add them to become our friends as they go on their journey, so we can learn from them and grow and like help foster this elevation together. So we are honored that you're now an elevator in this community. And we talked about not getting uncomfortable, but we might get uncomfortable here for a second because we're going to move on to our next section, which is our rapid fire section, where we didn't prep you on any of these questions. You got to tell us the first thing that comes to mind, Elgin. So I hope you're ready.
Yeah, for
Strap in. This one should be easy. What is your favorite song on your new album?
The one that's about to come out, my favorite song.
Mm-hmm. Can you say the name yet? Is it all right? Is that fine?
Yeah, because the names are out. I released this. I think.
Yeah, I saw the list. Good.
Favorite song is probably "In My Cup" or "My Cup." Yeah.
Let's go. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Essentially, it's just like essentially it's just me talking about like being in a space where I literally just want to be alone, but like. I love this person I'm interacting with or engaging with, but I just really want to be alone. So but it's a vibe. It's a crazy vibe.
Can't wait for that.
I'm so excited.
Crazy vibe.
All right, next question. Next rapid fire. Who is the most influential musician and artist for you? And it's not Drake, right? It can't be Drake.
This is definitely Drake.
All right, fair enough.
I feel like,
no, all right.
but the thing is, that's not fair, because like I feel like he's the closest person to be doing singing and rapping and being like vulnerable. So like that's just the style. But if I think about like literal like influences, it's definitely like older, like super older artists. I grew up listening to the craziest folks, but I'll say Drake. I'll definitely.
All right, what era Drake? Are we talking Degrassi Drake? Are we talking? I'm kidding.
It's given Views.
Okay.
Comeback season. Nothing was the same. I'll say though, like that kind of Drake. It's not a lot of contemporary sounds. It's gonna feel like the music is gonna feel like. Sometimes you could feel like you're listening to a 90s vibe, R&B. Sometimes you like feel like you're listening to a Travis Scott song. Like I have a whole bunch of. I run the gambit on this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a combination of like trying to be different, but then also trying to be familiar. So yeah,
I like it.
I'm definitely excited for it. But that's the best answer I can give. I'm sorry.
That's a good answer. I mean, we love Drake. He's the coolest Jewish rapper out there. So let's be honest.
For sure.
Yeah, he's on our team.
He's on our team. That's jokes.
All right. This might be the same answer for you then, but if you could share the stage with one person when you perform, who would it be?
That isn't Drake.
That isn't Drake. Okay. Do they have to be you're asking for like an artist or just like
Could
anybody?
be anybody.
My sister, my little sister.
I love that.
She and I have a feature on this song. But like she's a crazy, crazy talented writer. And she can sing too. We have a song together on this project, so I would love to like do that. Like just and like have everybody else like know the song so like we can sing it together. That'd be crazy.
Little sister better be coming down to DC
Definitely.
and performing that song in person.
She's sliding. She's sliding. First show, she's sliding.
Let's do it. We're going to make this dream become a reality.
First show, she is sliding for sure. For sure. For sure.
All right, next question, Sam. This one's not on the outline that we got here, but Seattle. You're new to Seattle. Well, I guess relatively new, right?
Yeah.
What is one thing about Seattle that surprised you that you honestly were like, you went in, you had no idea about, now you live there, and you're like, holy shit.
Seattle has like probably the best like summers ever, like anywhere. I'll put money on that. Like the weather is just like perfect. Like there's no humidity. It's like between like 70 and like 80. It's like comfortable, like warm, nice weather. And I wish I could show you my view, but I feel like I'm like so wired up right now. But like I have a view of the Space Needle, and like I literally like right now the sun is setting. So like if we wasn't doing this, I'd be sitting outside like drinking wine, watching the sunset, writing some shit. So I'll say that. It's like Seattle's actually beautiful. Like Washington State is beautiful.
I've never been. I'm coming to visit. Sold me.
It's space. It's plenty of space. So
I'm down. Let's do it. All right. So we're going to link to this in the episode bio, but why don't you tell the people we potentially got some album parties coming up, right? Nothing set in stone yet.
Nothing yet.
Okay.
It's all forthcoming. Obviously, the project is called Of Love. My social media is elgin.jr. Or if you type in LGN, it actually should come up because that's what's on my page.
We'll link to all that too so that people can follow you and listen to your music. I mean, guys, Elgin is very talented. Like Parker and I, again,
I wish I could share some of the songs from the new project, but we haven't finished copywriting everything, so I gotta hold on to them. But
don't worry,
I promise you,
we don't want to piss off your legal team.
Me neither.
Yeah, exactly.
Me neither. And I know they working, so I'm gonna let them. I'm gonna keep my promise.
I love it. We'll when it comes out, we will be the first to repost it and share it with the nation because I know they're dying to listen. But I think we got one more rapid fire, one of our favorites. Parker, go ahead.
All right, so we ask everyone who comes on, not your mental motto, because we're getting to that in just a minute, but is there a book, something that you've read that is just so influential in your life that you'd recommend to Elevation Nation?
My favorite book is Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. I read that at least once or twice a year. I actually didn't read it last year, but I usually read it like once or twice a year. Well, I didn't read it this year. Not last year, this year. But essentially, the book really helped me with like appreciating identity, and like that idea of that self-confidence. Throughout the book, you never really know the main character's name. And he goes through so many different experiences, some that are challenging, some that are just like, why the fuck did you do this? Like, why didn't you like do X, Y, and Z? So I kind of had a chance to like reflect and kind of own that for myself, and recognize that like I'm the catalyst, like I'm the captain of, my soul. Like I'm the one who has to navigate my own spaces. So I need to be at least confident in the resolve that I can do what I can do. So, that's my favorite book of all time. So I would definitely suggest that.
I love it. Added it to the list. Thank you for that.
Sure.
And Elgin, that brings us to our final segment, something that is near and dear to our hearts, your mental motto. So can you share with the people what your mental motto is.
Yeah, I think I let it go a little earlier, but
You did. That's good storytelling. See, it's in your blood, man.
Yeah. So dare to be great, and so my dad likes to say the whole thing, but like I shortened it to D instead of T. I put number 2 and then BG. So I have that tatted on my like inner bicep. But anything worth having, dreams worth chasing, goals, accomplishments, they don't come without taking any risks. They don't get handed to you on a silver platter. And like, I want to be great, right? Like I want to pursue greatness. I want to continuously pursue and excel at being great, whatever that looks like, whether that's being a good friend, a good partner, whether that's like figuring out how to perfect or get as close to perfection with my craft as possible. You have to step out on those challenges and take those risks and own that. So I'll forever dare to be great. And that's kind of the mental motto I kind of live by. Not kind of, I definitely live by that.
I love it. I mean, bro, you got it tattooed on yourself. It's
got to mean something, right?
Exactly. It's got to mean something to you.
It's got to mean something.
That's beautiful, sure, man. And like, that's what's so cool about these mental mottos. Everybody has this phrase. For some of us, it's more obvious, and you obviously knew that this was important to you. You got it tattooed on you. But for some other people who maybe aren't at that stage, doing a little bit of self-reflection and figuring out, like, yeah, what is my mental motto? Like, who am I? What do I want to follow every single day? What is the value that I bring? It is so important, I think, for young people, for all of us, to take a minute and try to find a motto that inspires us each and every day. And I mean, Parker and I both have ours, and we have the word that we are elevators, and those are true to who we are, and they inspire how we try to live each and every day. And so I challenge Elevation Nation out there listening, if you haven't taken some time to figure out your mental motto,
absolutely,
definitely give it a try.
And it's yours, and no one can take it from you. You can believe whatever the hell you want. It could be whatever you want it to be. If it's something that keeps you grounded in who you are, where you want to go, and how to get there, that's all that matters. And that's what's beautiful about the mental motto. But Elgin, man, we've been shooting the shit for a while now. I just got to say, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to know you. I'm so proud of how we met and where we are now,
yes,
and just seeing your success. And it's like I said at the beginning of the episode, it's serendipitous to be sitting here on the podcast, full circle, and just like, it's awesome.
Listen, man, y'all, you talking about me? I'm proud of y'all. Y'all are killing it. For one, I definitely appreciate being invited on, but I'm of course super, super excited and happy to be able to see y'all doing what y'all enjoy. And I need some more podcast episodes. I mean, I'm running through them. I need, you know what I need? I need the sunset ones. I need the historical. I need the old ones. Cause you referenced one of them. You was like, I don't know if y'all heard the first few, but they were, I need to hear from start to finish. We got to see the progress.
There's some rough ones at the beginning, bro.
Oh,
we might let you go
Talk
back.
About honing your craft.
Honing your craft. Oh man.
It was brutal. It was brutal.
They're there. Hey, they're there. We kept them. We don't archive them. Episode 1 from like October 20th, 2020. It's there.
Trust me. I've done podcasts. I've done a few podcasts. I've done some that are really good. Like one of my man on Positive Filter. Beautiful. And then I've done other podcasts where I'm just like, well, this is difficult. I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be asking the questions and helping us get to the next segment, or are you guys supposed to listen? So I know that feeling. But y'all are killing it. Like I was honestly, I hope that I wasn't leading us too quickly into the next segment, because sometimes I talk and then like it ends up just like transitioning pretty smoothly. So
we got you. We were prepared. We got transition. We got sections. All that. It was eloquent.
Y'all held it down. I'm excited.
Wait, hold on.
Let's close this
Elgin,
out.
Let me close it out, and then we'll shoot the shit. Elgin, thank you for coming to Elevation Nation. Thank you for being an elevator. We're so proud of you, and we can't wait to see what's next. Elevation Nation, until next week. Peace. All right, sorry, I just